Can you see my share screen?
Yep.
Okay, so first I would like to maybe review about blog that I have wrote today. I mean, yes, this is the part 3 about the API. So at first I was confused that am I really gonna write API in frameworks such as Express or Lumen or any other backend framework?
Yeah, or Nest.js that previously.
Yeah, like that. Actually, I have wrote I continued the Nest.js to write the API, but somehow I maybe I forgot, or yes, I have wrote that, and it gave me maybe a short view, or not broad view, but just like introduction to API, how to get, post, and etc. And just let's get started to Strapi. So when I search for the API tutorial using Strapi in YouTube, what came to the top is like learning Strapi in just 12 minutes or something that is not deeply related to API. They just explain how to use the Strapi and etc. There is a crash course in Traversy channel which used Strapi, and yes, he did. He spoke some about API, and he created something in using Visual Studio Code, but that's the short part, and I didn't get clearly, so I found an article like this. Oh, I didn't save that. Maybe, I'm sorry. So it's just basically about API in Strapi without coding. So I learned from the article, and first I continued the development using Strapi as you advised me before, which used Yarn. Just type yarn develop after changing the directory to image repo, which I created this Strapi project, and it showed me it redirect me to localhost on port 1337. And if I use
do you have any problems with Yarn after switching from NPM?
Oh, there is no problem, I think.
Okay.
And I read about article saying NPM versus Yarn. I couldn't understand deeply, but one thing that I knew was Yarn is better in performance than NPM. Actually, I'm not sure why it happens, but what I got is, yeah, about the performance, Yarn is better, and I'm not encountering any problems so far.
Okay.
And then I was redirected to login page, but yes, after the login was successful, it showed the admin page, and I clicked the image repo, this on the left side of the page on collection types, which I created before. Oh, sorry. Maybe I think I clicked the roles and permissions because there are some configurations that I must set, which is the application section, and this one, count, find one, and CRUD operations are here. I'm about to configure the actions that are allowed by public user, And on this drop down, actually I can select known, is authenticated, or maybe rate only if I'm not mistaken. So is authenticated allows only authenticated user, or maybe requires a login for a user to do certain actions. So I select the CRUD operation. I mean, there is no retrieve action, but yeah, retrieve action is fine. But for CUD, create, update, and delete actions, the good practice is to set this is authenticated, and I set count, find, and find one to known. Actually, I'm not writing here. I didn't write here, but the good practice is like that, I think.
Okay.
But oh yeah, one more. So go to upload section and just give mark to this one, upload, and set the allowance to is authenticated. But I allowed all actions to be performed by public users, as this is my first time to test API. So I set all of these actions to be performed for public user, which is in this drop down, maybe known option. I selected known option, and then I started to do some actions, which are create, update, delete, and actually retrieve here, but yeah, I will edit it later. So I think I need to understand API deeper before using on Postman, since actually in real life, I mean, several months ago, I didn't understand what API is. So there is, I mean, once upon a time, I wondered that why applications such as Traveloka or some maybe I can say traveling application can have data such as airplane departure and arrival time and its tickets price and etc. Not only airplane but also train and travel or bus maybe. And how Traveloka is just an example, but yes, how did Traveloka, what Traveloka did to have the data, and I wondered if they had direct access to databases. And yeah, it took several days or maybe 1 month to understand that. Actually, I found out the answer by figuring out by myself. So I didn't ask directly to someone like, hey, why Traveloka can get this data and etc. like that. So I got the answer that it was no, because of the security practice, which is considered dangerous to give direct access to databases. So there is a thing called API, and actually API is, yeah, it comes from a dissertation of maybe Roy Fielding on 2000. Yeah, it was just a brief history of API. So maybe once upon a time, I mean, one day I found a post in Instagram stating imagination of API. So imagine I'm having a dinner in a restaurant and I'm seeing a menu and I'm about to order my dinner, which is a dish of nasi goreng, and I ordered nasi goreng to a waiter or waitress, and he or she confirms my order, and then waiter asks, a chef to cook my order, and yeah, the waiter brings me. I mean, the waiter got me a dish of nasi goreng, and I think nasi goreng is my request. For example, Traveloka wants airplane flights data of Garuda Indonesia, and then the the airplane flights data is a requested by Traveloka. Traveloka is, in this term, is me, a client, and then the waiter gives the request to chef. I mean the order to chef, and the chef is as a server maybe, or I think something that processes the request. And after the request is ready to serve, the waiter will give me my order. So the API will get the Traveloka airplane flights from maybe server. So the API is the waiter or waitress. It has a role as API, and it has responsibility related to resources and data. That is what I found about API.
Okay.
And shortly, maybe there are two concepts in API: REST API and SOAP. I don't know deeper about SOAP, SOAP. I even do not remember what it stands for, but REST API is very, more common, and it is, used widely. And REST APIs uses HTTP methods, and it has unique functions. So as far as I got, I think there are 5 methods of HTTP, which are get, post, put, delete, and patch. Get to retrieve your data. So this is R include, and post to create, which is C include, and put to update, which is U, and D delete. So CRUD operation is made by these. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, these 4, but I found maybe not new, but I didn't know before, which is patch. Yes, to make partial updates. So some article stated that put is used when updating all fields in existing resources, while patch is used to make only a part or partial updates on the resources. If I am mistaken, hopefully you can correct me.
Yeah, that's true.
And then there is something called HTTP status codes, which is given when after giving a request, and it will be shown after the response comes. For example, this this is a star mark, which is which is commonly shown or presented, just like 405, 404, not found, unauthorized, and etc. And this one, 401, unauthorized, is shown when I set the actions, the configuration of action to be is authenticated, and I send, for example, create request without any authorization or authentication process. Yes, it showed me 401. I did not attach the photo here because I decided to make all actions to be performed by public user.
Okay.
without any authentication process, just to learn for the first time. So first method is get method, which can be done by typing localhost 1337/image repos. Should I show in Postman or
Okay,
only
sure.
blog?
Sure.
Oops. So the first one is the get method. Yes. So the image repos, I think it's easier to run Strapi first, image
Okay.
repo, or I will start with yarn.
So while waiting for this, do you think by using Strapi and developing Strapi, what do you think about it? Is it useful to for your knowledge in REST API?
Personally, I found it really amazing at first. So I mean, I still do not understand deeper about REST API, but at least I discovered how to use the HTTP method within REST API, because one day I was in a team of a web developer, in which the backend developer said, I have created the API documentation. You just have to use the, code based on the API documentation, but I didn't know how to use it. So hopefully after creating this article, especially performing HTTP methods within Strapi and Postman, I can understand better.
Okay.
And Strapi makes me very easy to develop, because I think there is no need to understand deeper. I mean, no knowledge, no deep knowledge of coding is required, and maybe just short part or oops.
But even
Okay.
if you don't need to know coding, you still have to know how REST API works, right? With Strapi.
Obviously, yes. I mean, I didn't intend to learn Strapi just to avoid coding, because yes, I will not use Strapi in all projects in my whole life. So I mean just um, when I have to, when I am required to use Strapi, maybe in work, or maybe some projects that requires, I mean, short period, I'm required to create maybe a website that have just like basic features, but I have no time. Maybe I can develop using Strapi. So here, image repos is the name of collection types,
Okay.
and I will use get method first. And what will happen if I send this request is it will display all users.
Okay.
from ID 1 and ID 5. Actually, the user with ID 2 is created, but I have deleted it. And when I created another user, I mean new user, it will display ID with 3. I mean not 2, because I have deleted the user with ID equals to 2.
Okay.
I still wonder why that happens, but I mean this is the result.
Yeah, the reason is because it's an auto increment field in database, and it's actually a good practice to not reuse IDs. Okay, so so to make there is no confusion what ID2 refers to. So ID2 refers on that person. So if you can reuse ID for another person, that will be a confusion, you know.
Oh,
So that's
conflict.
why it's actually a best practice to only use ID once for one person or one record. And even if it's deleted, then that means that ID is forever deleted and will never be used again. Okay. So
Okay.
you can imagine that in the real world, sometimes it's not using that rule and it's actually making problems. For example, if you have a mobile number and then you not use the number again and the number is hangus gitu ya. Actually, in several months, your number can be used by someone else. Okay, the operator will sell that number to another person as per dana, and then another person uses your number 3 months ago. So can you imagine that that makes a lot of confusion, because maybe your friend from a few years ago, they don't have your new number and then call you and then, no, this is not Kevin, this is someone else, salah sambung, but this is Kevin, this is the number before. And actually a more serious issue than confusion is a security issue. Okay? Because if you link your mobile number to a bank account or to a social media account or anything, because they use like verification, right, to Tokopedia and something like that, and then the number is gone, and then you switch to another number, and the old number is used by another person, then that means that person now has access to the previous accounts. That's actually dangerous.
Oh,
So, well,
indeed.
yeah, so this is why for ID, there's also a best practice to never use the ID for the same record. Okay,
Oh, thank you, sir.
let's continue.
So, yes, it will get me all users.
Okay.
When I want to perform this action, find one, this one, find one, I mean, only to find a certain user, I can get send a request based on ID. So it's basically the syntax is like this, and it will put the ID on endpoint of API. But so, for example, I want to get a user with ID 2. Oops, it gave me HTTP status code of 404, which is not found. Obviously, because it has been deleted before and it's not used anymore.
Yeah.
For example, I will put it 5 and I will send a request, and it should give me user with name of Linus Torvalds. And not only by ID. If I want to find a user with name Kevin, I just put nama here and contains equals to Kevin.
All right.
And again, it didn't give me not found.
Mm-hmm.
So I will retry it again. For example, nama underscore contains bill. Oh, I think it should give me 404 again, but
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea why
Mm-hmm.
it keeps showing me the 200 status, which is okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should not be successful because there is no user
Mm-hmm.
with name Bill.
Okay, I think it's different because the 404 means that that resource does not exist. But in this case, actually you are filtering on a collection, but the collection exists, right? The collection exists, but when you filter on that collection, then the collection gives you an empty result. So it's not that it doesn't exist. It just gives a collection, which when filtered gives you empty results. So I think it's a correct behavior. Okay.
Oh, thank you,
So
sir.
it's like coming to a house, and then there is nobody in the house. The house exists, right? But just nobody is there. It's different than coming to a house or address, and then the address is incorrect or
Different.
not found. When you come there is no house. Okay. Oh, there is no house here, so it's this is house not found. This is 404 not found. But if you come to a house, the address is there, Jalan Ahmad Yani number 100, and yes, there is this house Ahmad Yani number 100. But when you filter it, okay, there is nobody inside, and that's 200 okay, but giving you like empty array. So I think this is.
Oh, I see. And just moving right to next. Not only name, but not only nama field, but I can make it like biodata, which contains like as maybe Linux.
Okay.
Because it
Good.
contains like biodata which states I created Linux. Okay,
Okay.
so I mean, actually there are many filtering, but I have just tried about two, finding by filtering by ID and contents. And
Okay.
next I will move to
Okay. So let's go to the post that you have asked before. Have you managed to? I see that you are now using the post using two requests, right? First, you upload the document first, and then after that, you upload the file separately. So,
yes, sir.
okay. So let's try to do this in one request using post, using form data.
Form data.
Which one? Which one is your form data request?
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, the one that you asked before. Let's get it to work, because I know that you have been able to get it to work, but using two requests, right? Not using
Right,
form
not
data.
one.
Okay.
Should I change this?
Well, up to you. Just fill the key for one is the data and the other is the files. Yeah.
Data.
Yeah, and the other one is
Files.
dot photo, I guess. Yeah. Files
Photo. Oh.
Okay. Is photo big F? Okay. And then for the photo, then you will fill the file.
For example, I choose this photo.
Okay. And then in data, you choose the data as JSON. Is there a JSON there or just text? Okay. So you put the JSON inside the value. No, not file. Just use text. So you can like edit the data right there. Okay. So put the JSON there. Yep. And
like this?
Yep. And nama and biodata, put it there. So let's see if that will work.
Mark. Oops.
Just for the test, right?
I tried this last night, but I don't know why it didn't get work.
Okay, let's try this again now. And let's see if this will work or not work and what error message it gives. Okay, let's see what happens now.
Should I send this?
Okay, let's try.
Whoa.
Okay, seems working. Maybe you can verify with the Strapi UI to see if that data is correctly saved there.
Yes, it is here.
Yes, and the photo, is that the correct photo?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's good. So, yeah, maybe later you can update the blog post so that there is another way to do this post of data and files, yeah, in one request without making separate requests for the files.
Oh, thank you. I mean, is this maybe one more question? Is this case sensitive?
Let's try. Let's try make the NAMA smaller case. I would say that it should. I would say that if you are designing a database, the field names should be lowercase or should start with lowercase.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, but it's okay. But it's okay. As long as you get this done.
So I'll create another one.
Okay, let's try if that works.
Oh, that request.
Yeah. Okay. So it must have the exact case as what you entered before in the Strapi admin UI. All right.
Okay.
So I would say that's good. That's a very good progress.
Thank you, sir.
And okay, because our time is running out, let's move on to the next topic. I asked you to research security by obscurity, right, before. So what did you research that and what are your results? Or if you want to copy, make screenshots, up to you, if you need to make some screenshots first.
So I can only say that maybe security by obscurity is not to hide the not to hide the practice itself, or oh, I don't get any future. I mean, I don't get more than that. Okay. May I have a look at Google?
Oh, well, it's something that we discussed last week, so let's move on then.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to to-do list for next week. Can you open the meeting agenda?
Meeting, is this here? Oops.
Okay, you can go to part 8, conclusion. All right. So I would say that the last week you already did the REST API and Postman. That's good. Okay, so let's see part 5 first. go to part 5. And I think you have checked some parts, yeah. Publish weekly video already done. Summarize video already done. Add, edit, and delete photos already done, but not yet authentication, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, it's okay. You can check the things that you already done. Okay, so I would say that next week, then please cover how to use authentication and authorization on the REST API. Okay, so because the general principle is that the role should get as few permissions as possible to perform the job. And oh yeah, one thing that I did not agree with the way you structure it. Can you open your blog post again? Okay, yeah, or the roles, yeah. Okay, so you're actually editing, as you see above, that is, well, how do you read the title? Public.
Public
Yeah.
default role given to
Okay,
unauthenticated
so
user.
this is the role given for unauthenticated user. So, however, then you edit the public role and you give it permissions, and you say that, well, this should be done with authentication user and so on. So that's not how you should do it. What you should do is actually you create a new role, not edit this one, because this one is a public role, right? This one is a public role. Okay, so this one is a public role. Of course, you can allow to perform the setting. So what you should do is actually add a new role. Okay, so you make a role like maybe this role is a manager and that role is a regular user and so on. So, and then you give the permissions to that role. So you don't edit an existing like public role and then give it permissions. Unless, of course, the permissions are for public. Okay. For example, user does not have to use a token or a password, then can access, you can edit the public. But for permissions that are required, you need to make a new role. Okay, so this is like the generally best practice in the security world. You make a lot of roles, yeah. You make a lot of roles. This role is just for editing. This role is for reading, and so on and so on. Many roles is okay. All right.
Sorry, sir. How may I set like password or
you don't
authorization?
You don't set a password for role. Okay, role is just like a role. For example, the role is manager. So what if you want to set a password? You create a user and add that user to that role. Okay, so just create a role now, save it. Save
okay.
it. Okay.
Manager, save it.
Yeah, and now you go to users.
Oops.
Can you save it? Does it work? Okay, now you go to users on the left sidebar. You go to users. Users. Now you add the user. Yeah, there is a Kevin there. You can edit that user or create one. You can edit that one if you want. Okay, now you can see that when you you can add a user, there is a role in the right one, in the right part. Then you add that as a manager. So the password is the password for the user, not for the role.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so that's how the security should work. So there are users, there are roles. Okay. And in Strapi, I think you only have one role per user, yeah. But in other security frameworks, one user can have multiple roles. But in this case, there is just one role. That's okay.
What is this confirmed
I think
row,
it's for
column.
the email validation. I think, yeah.
Oh,
I think it's to save that. All right. So let's say that's it. And please, for the next week's task, you cover about authentication, authorization. You show that this is working or that's not working, and what happens if user tries to, well, because you like security, right? So you can use REST API as one of your security learning practices. So what if someone tries to break into the system by using a password or a token? So, and the best practices for that. And the next one is, can you open the agenda again?
This one?
Okay, go to to-do, on the to-do recap on part 8. Okay, so there is I think you can check the research security by obscurity, yeah, because it's well, it's already done. The research security by obscurity, I think it's already done. Or do you still want to learn about it? It's up to you. And okay, so next week about authentication and authorization, and also how to use authorization HTTP header. And also, I would say this is, if possible, yeah, if possible, you can enable GraphQL in Strapi and learn how to use it. But if you have the time, if not, then you can skip it for the next week. So for the next week, just the authentication and authorization, that's the most important one that you should cover. And after that, if you still have time, the GraphQL. That's it from me. Any question?
Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot how to duplicate this.
Yeah, right click. Okay.
Oh, this one. Duplicate. I want to ask about the REST API. I mean, for authentic and authorization permissions, is it located here or
there?
should?
Yeah, and then you can, I think you use a bearer token. Yeah, you use bearer token, but then you need to do API call to get the token first. So there is, I think it's called login or something in Strapi. So you log in and now you get a token to be able to perform operations. Okay, so you can try to search first, and if you are stuck there, just let me know.
Okay, sir. I see. Hello.
Yep.
So next week I will do the demonstration of this one. and if possible, of also the GraphQL. Is it right?
Okay. Okay, so now you can give rating and then conclude the meeting.
Okay. I will rate maybe 7.
Okay. I think I'll do an 8. Please give a 8 or mine.
Okay.
Is there any suggestion to improve the rating of the meeting for next time from you?
I should have uploaded maybe at least a day before the meeting. I'm sorry for being late. And then thank you for teaching me how to send a request. Also for the photo field in just a single request, because I didn't find it
Okay.
in YouTube, in Google as well.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. That
Maybe I
was
should.
the video was late. So please revise my score. So I will put 7 also. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, so anytime you have problems, just let me know. And don't forget to, if you ask me something, you give a proper diagnostic, yeah? So like a screenshot, something that you change, you send another screenshot so I know how it should be done.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.